front next, extraterrestrials among us. The secret U.S. government effort to hunt for UFOs exposed, and tonight out front, the man who led the classified program. Let's go. Tens of millions of dollars spent on investigating UFOs. Well, this is for real, and the man who headed the top secret government program is going to tell you all about it. Now, the former Pentagon military official who ran the covert government program up until this last November, Luis Elizondo. Luis, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Lou Elizondo is a former Pentagon official. He helped research UFOs. He said the DoD is not taking any of this seriously for some reason. Mr. Elizondo joins us tonight. Lou, good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
So did I overstate that? Is there a growing corpus of evidence, not drunk people on a lonely rural road at 3 in the morning, but sober military pilots saying something that we can't explain is happening?
That is correct.
So what did you find?
Well, we found a lot. I think what's important is that we have identified some very, very interesting anomalous type of aircraft. Let's call them aircraft. Things that don't have any obvious flight surfaces, any obvious forms of propulsion, and maneuvering in ways that include extreme maneuverability beyond, I would submit, the healthy G-forces of a human or anything biological. You're talking about individuals who have very high security clearances. They are trained observers. We've actually paid them and put them through schools to be trained and very keen observers to scrutinize what they're seeing. These are individuals who we trust to fly weapons platforms, sometimes with live munitions, over U.S. cities and to fight and win wars on our behalf. And they're reporting to us that they're seeing something that they can't explain, and it's also being backed up by the video evidence and the radar data, hypersonic velocities, low observability, positive lift, again, seemingly in defying the laws of aerodynamics.
So Jim Sciutto, who's my colleague, just spoke to a retired U.S. Navy pilot. He witnessed this, and he asked him what made him think this object was from another world. Watch this.
Well, the first thing is it had no wings, so you think, okay, it's a helicopter. Well, there's no rotor wash in the water. There's no rotors. And when helicopters move side to side, they kind of slow, and then they pick up speed going the other way. This was extremely abrupt, like a ping pong ball bouncing off a wall. It would hit and go the other way and change directions at will. And then the ability to hover over the water and then start a vertical climb from basically zero up towards about 12,000 feet and then accelerate in less than 2 seconds and disappear is something I had never seen in my life.
So people are talking. So do you think,
I mean, I know, but do you believe, when you get that Navy pilot saying what he said, do you think that that was, a UFO? To obviously, I don't have any other word to use, or that, or something else?
Sure, that's a great question. Keeping in mind, it's not just the pilot's testimony on an observation. Sure, when someone comes to you who's in charge of a multi-million-dollar weapon platform, who maintains a top secret security clearance, who is paid and trusted by this country to go fight wars and to fly over cities with live munitions, and by the way, they're trained observers with millions of dollars invested in their training.
Yep.
I would submit to you it's pretty compelling. But on top of that, it's not just the eyewitness testimony. It is actual electro-optical data and radar returns. It's also people like radar operators and air traffic controllers. So I think the discussion should be maybe a little bit broader than that. I think people are focusing just on 2 videos coming from a set of F-18s when really it's a lot more than that, and other witnesses.
But these must just be weather balloons, right?
Well, the weather balloons that are expressing technologies that are far beyond our current understanding of aerodynamics, things that are maneuvering in ways that no aircraft that we are currently aware of has that capability to. Flight performance characteristics that are well beyond the threshold of what we would consider I think, normal or routine for aircraft.
So they have no flight surfaces, no wings or anything approaching a wing, and there's also no obvious propulsion. So infrared doesn't pick up any jet trail or rocket exhaust coming out of these things.
Right, or
correct?
A plume. There's many ways to have propulsion. You can do it with a jet engine, for example, right, a propeller, or a rocket engine. In this particular case, you have objects that are doing things, maneuvering in ways without any obvious sign of propulsion, and defying the natural effects of Earth's gravitational
At what speeds?
pull. Some are very, very, very fast.
Faster than our aircraft or known
Absolutely, hypersonic speeds. And by the way, without any obvious signs or signatures involved.
The U.S. military jets encountering an unknown object. It was released by this program. What do you make of this video? What's happening here?
Well, what's really fascinating about the video is that the object that's caught in the scope in the center has been hovering for quite a few minutes. And then all of a sudden at the end, which is what we're seeing on the screen now, it zooms off to the left very fast. This is a fair distance away, so it's going fast. And, you know, we don't have technology that can hover in one spot and then suddenly go off at a right angle, especially something without any wings or propellers or anything like that.
All right, so this is not, you know, we don't want to do the Twilight Zone, that sort of, but what, that's what people think about. What is that?
So let me just ask you point blank the question. Do you believe that life from somewhere else, while you ran this program, came here, visited, observed?
I will tell you unequivocally that through the observation, scientific methodologies that were applied to look at this phenomena, that these aircraft, we'll call them aircraft, are displaying characteristics that are not currently within the U.S. inventory, nor in any foreign inventory that we are aware of.
An experienced pilot who said he had never seen anything like that in his life before that could move like that. I think that's pretty significant. So,
yeah, I sat down with him and interviewed him at length.
Okay, so then if you say, no, let's not talk little green men, are we talking otherworldly? Or maybe is it a spy craft or something from another country that maybe they have something that's more advanced than we are?
Well, I mean, the officials who have studied this believe that it is not technology possessed by any country.
And just to be clear, we don't believe that any other country possesses the technology to create an aircraft like this, right?
Absolutely correct, yes. One of the things that went into this report was obviously looking to see if this sort of thing was anything in our own inventory and indeed anything that any other nation has. I mean, certainly when I was investigating UFOs for the British government, we knew that some of these things would turn out to be secret prototype aircraft, drones and missiles, but we always knew through our own intelligence sources, you know, who has what, so you can eliminate that.
I mean, they have made that statement on the record that they've observed enough of it, and they have colleagues in other countries, that they've drawn that conclusion because it is so advanced what they have observed. And also these things have been around for a long time, Don. So go back to the 50s and 60s when they were doing the same thing they're doing now. What kind of technology did we have then? Nothing close to what we have now.
So what you're really saying is that the U.S. government and the British government have essentially concluded that there's something not from this world that humans did not create that is being tracked on radar and watched by people who watch aircraft for a living. I mean, this is real.
It is real.
So I know you're being clear, but I mean, the answer is yes.
I can't speak on behalf of the government. Obviously, I'm not in the U.S. government anymore. My personal belief is that there is very compelling evidence that we may not be alone.
Happy to think that we're the only ones, I think.
Well, I don't think anybody believes that. But the question is, if we're not, they're so far away that how could they ever get here? That's the big mystery.
Well, we got, to Mars.
We have maybe civilizations that are way ahead of us in terms of years and years, millions of years or whatever. So.